Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Riskianti. On this occasion, I would like to present my final project proposal entitled Analysis of the Influence of Macroeconomic Factors and Financial Performance on Stock Prices, Case Study of Energy Sector Companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the 2019-2023 period. This presentation can be divided into the following subtopics. For the first is research background, for the second is research problem formulation, for the third is research objectives, for the fourth is research benefits, for the fifth is theoretical basis, for the sixth is research framework, for the seventh is research hypothesis, and for the last is research methodology. Let's begin by research background. Currently, the global economy is still facing various challenges and uncertainties, including high inflation, rising interest rates, geopolitical tension, and supply chain disruptions. These factors create instability and can lead to economic downturns and recessions. As an open country, Indonesia is highly affected by global economic dynamics. The weakening rupiah exchange rate and rising inflation have prompted the central bank to raise interest rates, which has slowed domestic economic growth. The energy sector is highly sensitive to global economic conditions, especially changes in oil prices. Fluctuations in oil prices can have a significant impact on the performance of energy companies, which in turn affects their stock prices. On the right side is a stock price movement graph for energy sector listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange from the 2019 until 2023 period. The graph shows the increase in stock prices in the energy sector over the past 5 years. So what are the main factors that affect stock prices? Key factors affecting stock prices are: the first is macroeconomic factors. Inflation, exchange rate, and oil prices are crucial macroeconomic indicators that affect stock prices in the energy sector. And for the second is company performance. Factors such as return on equity, debt to equity ratio, and price earning ratio affect investor sentiment and stock prices. From previous studies, there is still a research gap related to the relationship between macroeconomic factors and financial performance with stock prices. So, further research is needed on the specific impact of these factors on energy sector stock prices. Therefore, the author is interested in conducting a study entitled Analysis of the Influence of Macroeconomic Factors and Financial Performance on Stock Prices, Case Study of Energy Sector Companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange from the 2019 until 2023 period. Let's move on to research problem formulation. The formulation of the problem in this research are: the first is how significant is the influence of macroeconomic factors and financial performance on stock prices in energy sector companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the 2019 until 2023 period. The second is how significant is the influence of inflation, the rupiah exchange rate, and oil prices on stock prices in energy sector companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the 2019 until 2023 period. And for the last is how significant is the influence of return on equity, debt to equity ratio, and price earning ratio on stock prices in energy sector companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the 2019 until 2023 period. Next is research purposes. The purposes of this research are: the first is analyze the significance of the influence of macroeconomic factors and financial performance on stock prices in energy sector companies listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange for the 2019 until 2023 period. For the second is analyze the significance of the influence of inflation, the rupiah exchange rate, and oil prices on stock prices in energy sector companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the 2019 until 2023 period. And for the last is analyze the significance of the influence of return on equity,
debt to equity ratio and price earning ratio on stock prices in energy sector companies listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange for the 2019 until 2023 period. Let's move on to research benefits. The benefits of this research are, firstly, theoretical benefits. The theoretical benefits of this research are expected to be used as a reference for further research so that new knowledge is created, especially about stock prices, and this research is expected to provide contributions of thought and theories regarding the factors that influence stock prices, which include macroeconomic factors and financial performance. And for the second benefit is practical benefits. The practical benefits of this research include: first is for the object of research. It is expected to be an input for two considerations in solving problems and making policies to increase stock prices by considering macroeconomic factors and financial performance. And for the second is for further researches. This research is expected to be used as a reference and basis for development or comparison for further similar research. Let's move on to theoretical basis. For the first is theories. First theory is signaling theory, introduced by Spence. This theory suggests that companies can use financial statements as signals to convey information to investors. Positive financial results can be interpreted as a positive signal influencing investor decisions. For the second theory is efficient market theory. Proposed by Fama, this theory states that all available information is already reflected in a stock's price. New information is quickly incorporated into the price, making it difficult to consistently outperform the market. And for the last theory is contagion effect theory. Introduced by Berry, Ross, and Wiplos, this theory explains how financial crises and spread from one country to another. Interconnected economies and investor behavior can contribute to the contagion effect. Next is stock market. The stock market is a platform for trading securities like stocks, bonds, and derivatives. Stocks are popular investment and their prices are influenced by various factors including company performance and market sentiment. Stock valuation method help investors determine the fair value of a stock and make informed investment decisions. Next is macroeconomic factors. The first is inflation. Inflation is a sustained increase in the general price level of goods and services. High inflation can erode purchasing power and lead to economic instability. The second is exchange rates. Exchange rate is the value of one currency relative to another. Fluctuations in exchange rates can impact a country's export, import, and overall economic health. For the last is oil prices. As a crucial commodity, oil prices fluctuations can significantly impact various industries including energy, transportation, and manufacturing. Next is financial performance. The first is return on equity, measures that companies' profitability against shareholder equity. A high return on equity indicates a company's good ability to generate profits from its shareholders' investments. For the second is debt to equity ratio, shows the company's financial leverage. A higher debt to equity ratio indicates that the company relies more on debt financing. For the last is price earning ratio, compares a company's stock price to its earning per share. This ratio provides a valuation ratio of the company's current stock price, whether it is undervalued or overvalued. Let's move on to research framework. Based on the diagram of the research framework, the independent variables of this research are inflation, exchange rate, oil prices, return on equity, debt to equity ratio, and price earning ratio. While the dependent variable of this research is the stock price. From this scheme, it will be tested or analyzed how the effect of inflation, exchange rate, oil prices, return on equity, debt to equity ratio, and price earning ratio on stock prices of energy sector companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the 2019 until 2023 period. Next, research hypothesis. The hypothesis of this research are: the first hypothesis is inflation affects stock prices in energy sector companies in the 2019 until 2023 period. The second hypothesis is exchange rate affects stock prices in energy sector companies in the 2019 until 2023 period. The third hypothesis is oil prices affect stock prices in energy sector companies in the 2019 until 2023 period. The fourth hypothesis is return on equity affects stock prices in energy sector companies in the 2019 until 2023 period. The fifth hypothesis is debt to equity ratio affects stock prices in energy sector companies in the 2019 until 2023 period. And for the last hypothesis is price earning ratio affects stock prices in energy sector companies in the 2019 until 2023 period. For the last is research methodology. This research is a type of causal research. The aim is to determine the effect of independent variables, namely macroeconomic factors proxied by inflation, exchange rate, and oil prices, and financial performance proxied by return on equity, debt to equity ratio, and price earning ratio on the dependent variable, namely stock prices. The type of data used in this study is quantitative data with secondary data sources. The population of the study was 83 companies. The sampling technique was carried out using the purposive sampling technique with the following criteria. For the first criteria is energy sector companies listed before 2019. The second criteria is energy sector companies that consistently reported financial statements during the study period. And for the last criteria is energy sector companies that didn't conduct a stock split and right issue between 2019 until 2023. Based on the purposive sampling technique, 55 samples were obtained with a total research period of 5 years. This study uses multiple linear regression analysis technique using the IBM SPSS application. The stage of data analysis carried out are classical assumption tests consisting of normality test, multicollinearity test, heteroscedasticity test, and autocorrelation test, followed by hypothesis test and determination coefficient test. That's all my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.